Hi, my name's Ian with Iron Cross Fitness, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a proper toe to bar. Now, there's three things associated with doing a toe to bar. There's strength, there's flexibility, and then there is a tapping motion. Not to be confused with a kipping motion. It is a tap swing commonly used in gymnastics, and it's used to generate momentum and increase overall effectiveness. Now, one thing I want to say is I do not teach bent leg toe to bars. Now, there's a couple reasons for this. A bent leg toe to bar proves to me that you lack either the flexibility or the strength required, which is fine. I mean, all the pros out there do bent leg toe to bars, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a straight leg toe to bar has a couple different uses. A straight leg toe to bar will, one, increase the momentum you generate, which will ultimately make the toe to bar faster. And I just personally think it looks 10 times better. I mean, I would rather someone do a movement the right way than do it sloppy and just look ugly and then earn a bad rep for all of CrossFit. That's just my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Now, before we get into this, I just want to apologize for the jacket and the hat. It's currently 6 a.m. in Massachusetts, and it's a little chilly, so we'll get on it. Now, getting into the strength, there's two things we need to work on. We need to work on building our core muscles, and we need to work on building our hip flexor muscles, because that is essentially the motion you use when you go from your toes to your hands. Now, in order to do this, there's a couple different variations. A common one I like to use is called a V-up, which just laying on your back, and you're going to reach up, touch your toes, back to the ground. This helps work both the hip flexor and the stomach muscles. If that is too hard for you at the moment, you can always do bent leg tuck-ups just to build up that strength. And then in order to build the closing motion with your legs, I found that this one works pretty well. They're just simple leg lifts. You're going to put your hands about where your knees are, and then you're just going to try and lift. And you're going to do that several times, and then that's going to help you build up this motion and also working in that closed position. For flexibility, specifically for doing toe to bars, we need to get a really good pike stretch. A pike stretch is just when you sit in this L position and you're just going to reach out as far as you can. Now, a common problem that a lot of people have is that they do not work this stretch. And that means that when they do a pike stretch, they can only go this far. And then when they get on the bar and they try to do toe to bars, like, you can't even get your toes to your hands. How do you expect to do a toe to bar? That's where people do the bent legs to compensate, because they can bend their legs, pull their toes closer when the bar's right there. So I suggest doing this stretch daily. Every day you come in, do this stretch. This is one of the hardest stretches to get down. If you need someone to help push you, I would suggest doing that. But our goal is to reach out as far as we can and at least touch our toes first, because that is a good, that'll count. If you can get this far and you can do it on the bar, that'll be a good toe to bar. If you can, try and go even further, just so that way when you're doing toe to bars, you're not straining to get to that last inch. I gotta do this all in one take, huh? Now, those are just a couple of exercises. If you'd like to know more about that, leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know whether you want more elaboration on flexibility, more elaboration on ab work. But right now we're going to go ahead and get to the bar, and then I'm going to show you the progressions to take to getting a good, effective toe to bar. Okay, so before we jump into doing toe to bars, one thing we need to make sure we have is a full extension in our hang. This full extension means that we can achieve full range of motion going from a toe to bar to a long hang, which will in turn increase our momentum, which will make the movement a lot more fluid, a lot easier, and it'll make it a little quicker as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab a bar and we're just going to hang. This will help stretch all those muscles, and you want to try and be as tall as you can while you're doing this. Make sure your arms are by your ears and that your hip angle is open and your chest is open. Okay, now after you've done that, this is where we get into the tap aspect that I was talking about earlier. Now, like I said, this is not a kip. We are not doing a kipping toe to bar. but it is a tap swing because you are going through a tight arch and then you're snapping to a tight hollow, because that essentially is what makes you do the toe to bar. So what you're going to do is you're going to hang, you're going to get a little bit of a swing, and then you're just going to work on extending in the front, hollow in the back. Extending, hollow. Tight arch, hollow. Tight arch, hollow. This is the beginning of your toe to bar. Now before we get into doing full range of motion toe to bars, we are now going to do just simple leg lifts. This is much harder than doing a toe to bar. Let me just say that. Doing a toe to bar is a lot easier because you're using momentum, and momentum is helping you. Doing an isolated leg lift puts a lot more strain on the abs and a lot more strain on your hip flexors, but it's great for building up the strength. And to do an isolated toe to bar, you're just going to hang, and then you're just going to work on strictly raising your legs to your hands. And like I said, this is good for building strength. So if you're not good at it, I would suggest doing these. You can even do tuck-ups, just to make it easier. Okay, now we are going to get into the infamous toe to bar. Using the tap swing that I showed you previously, we are going to extend in the front, and then on the back swing, we are going to pull down on the bar, and then we're going to raise our feet to the bar at the same time. So we're going to be kind of doing this motion. Now with the swing, we'll be able to use momentum so that we're not doing all the work, and then that tap will bring our toes up and bring them back down. And that looks like this. Just get a little bit of a swing again so you can do the tap. Extend, close, extend, close, extend, close. Now that takes some time to get used to, especially doing it with straight legs. I like to do straight legs because I can, once I get my toes to the bar, I can drive my feet back down, which is a lot harder to do in a tuck position. That's why I stress doing straight legs. Because when you can drive your feet down, you increase the momentum at the bottom, and that in turn increases the snap to the top, making it much easier and much faster. Well, I hope you guys were able to learn something valuable out of that. I had a lot of fun doing it. I try to post videos at least once a week, working on something new. Like I said, this is a very dynamic movement. It's probably going to take you guys a little bit of time to get used to it and get used to the way your body works. It took me some time. If you have any questions or need me to elaborate on any of the exercises I do, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll try and get back to you on that. I read all my comments, so I will see it. Don't worry about that. All in all, thank you guys, and have a great day.